everyone, it's me, Andrea, and I'm here in today's video to show you how to take the close to my heart purse card thin cuts, which make this adorable little flat card and turn it into something more dimensional so that you can pack some little treats or, little goodies into the purse for your Christmas gift giving needs. So let's get started. Now, I actually created these two cards originally when I thought I was filming, but my camera cut off. So we are going to go ahead and make a third card so I can show you how to do this. The card on the right is very flat, and the card on the left is actually a very dimensional version, and that's what we are going to focus on today. In both of these cards, I've used the purse card thin cuts set, which I believe are on page 58 and 59 in the annual catalog, which is great because they're going to be sticking around a long time. And we're going to do something a little different with the third card that we're going to make because we are going to give the front flap a little bit of a different treatment. For all three cards, I have chosen to use the White Pines paper pack. We currently have a brand new modernized version of the White Pines in stock, and I am not going to use that. I'm going to use some of my older stash here in an effort to love my stash. So I have some pieces here that might be about the right size. Now, these have not been cut to measure, but I'm just pulling out some bits and pieces from this card kit, which means that I never made these cards, and I probably won't now that I'm, taking bits and pieces out. But that's okay. Put it to good use. As long as you're using your supplies, it's all good, right? What I have done is I have cut one solid piece for each of these two cards that you see already made out of this busy White Pines paper here. We're going to do something a little different this time, and you'll see that my paper is not long enough to go the length of the thin cut, which is absolutely fine because I am going to join on a flap that's cut from the reversed side. So I'm going to actually want to flip the pattern over. So it's all going to work out. I have my old Cuddle Bug here, and I apologize that I did not push this up well enough into the camera. And I have the thin cut. I'm going to make a sandwich here. And what you're going to notice is that the purse is not, the flap is not going to fit on. And like I said, that's okay. We're going to make it work. So I'm just going to pull this out and arrange this properly. At this point, I've also sped up the video just a little bit. I am just figuring out how to work this CRICUT Cuddle Bug. I'm waiting to get our new close to my heart die cutting and embossing machine, which should be in stock soon, I'm really hoping. But in the meantime, I am just trying to cut the purse front. And like I said, if I was making the two cards that you see off to the right, I would have used a full piece of this patterned paper to do so. But since I am going to put the other flap on, it's okay that this paper is just a little short. I'm just cutting off that end, and I have what I need. I have a little bit of the flap left over, which is absolutely fine because that will help me adhere this custom flap that I'm making to the front of my purse. I am now cutting, you'll see this patterned paper with the trees, and I'm cutting that so the trees become right side up. I not only cut the flap, I have just a little bit extra, I believe. And so I'm going to put all those pieces back on, and we are going to get busy cutting the little extras. I have some black cardstock here, and I'm going to just pull out a couple of scraps that I think might be big enough to do what I want to do. I want to cut the handle once, and then I also want to cut the little belt piece. And I realized that it all fits on this one piece of black cardstock, so we're going to run that through quickly. And now I have each of the pieces that I need cut out of the black. And I think it's important when you're working with big die cutting sets like this, thin cut sets, keep putting those pieces back on their magnetic carrier sheet that Close to My Heart provides, because I tend to lose them. So if you put them back right away, you really reduce your chances of losing them. You might notice I have a little pack of gold foil paper scraps that I keep, and I label it. It's in a label from like the think it's the checkout store on Amazon. And I buy those envelopes and label them. And then when I've got little bits and pieces left from projects, I save them. They're perfect for little pieces like this. So I've now cut the bow and the belt buckle out of the gold foil paper. And I think it really looks pretty, don't you? We are going to move that Cuttlebug out of the way, and now it's time to get busy, and I'll show you how easy this is to assemble. We are going to fold on the fold line. There we go. There are score lines already built in to this project. Make sure you pick up the score lines and not the stitching lines that are supposed to be decorative. It will make your project go a lot easier. So there you go. I'm just going to adhere these together. I do like the way that that flap looks. So I'm just using some of our Close to My Heart, dry adhesive here. I want this project to dry pretty quickly. I didn't want to wait on the liquid glue if this would work, and it seems to have held. Now there's decisions to be made about this handle. Do you want to put it on the front or on the back? If you do put it on the front, the whole card does not open up really easily. So I think it's better to go ahead and put it on the back like Close to My Heart suggested. If you want, you could always put a little fake piece on the front there of black cardstock to mimic the design that we have in that card on the left. But for now, we're just going to put it on the back, and see, the whole card opens more easily when you do that. There's a little slit cut in that the belt actually fits into that locks the whole card together. But if you're doing a 3D card like the one on the right, you're going to want to be careful when I show you how to build this and where you put your tape. So I have this Christmas stamp set that's currently available, and I love the sentiment, Christmas calories don't count. I figured if I put in one of those little Ghirardelli chocolate squares into the top half here, then the little Christmas calories don't count sentiment would be kind of cute inside. See here, you're going to want to use like a better adhesive. My tape runner did not hold that flap because it really needs to be movable. So to make this 3D card, we're going to cut right along that score line. You could do this with your paper trimmer, but I just wanted to free the front of my purse from the back. And that's the first step in making it, making it wider at the bottom, in essence. I am just not measuring. I'm just folding this piece of cardstock that I pulled out of the kit in thirds. My only goal with this was for it to be a little bit less wide than the bottom of my purse. This piece of cardstock fit perfectly. So by folding it in thirds, I'm going to put one of the flaps. I'm attaching that to the bottom on the back of the purse, and now I will do the same to the front. But notice I didn't put anything in the middle there because you are going to need that belt tab to be able to slide through there freely. And if you tape that down or glue it down, it's not going to be able to seal. This one I have like a little pleat in the bottom. I'm going to leave this one open for the moment, and I will show you how to pleat that later on in the video. Now, I'm again not even measuring. That's the beauty of using your scraps. You don't have to measure anything. You just need to make sure that this piece of cardstock fits within the purse and that your sentiment fits on it. I'm going to ink up using some of my black ink here. And if you plan on coloring this with your alcohol markers, the word calories, you might want to use an intense black ink. But yeah, just go ahead and glue that down. This couldn't be easier so far, right? Now at this point, you don't need to worry about putting anything up here because you could put your gift card or chocolate in at a later point in time. Now this is the fun part. You just slip this belt buckle over the actual belt strap here and adhere it down. And like I said, it's a very wise idea to go back and maybe use some liquid glue on this. Now we're going to want to make sure the top of that belt strap is adhered to the flap of the purse on the top here. And so you're going to line everything up and then really press it down. You could always reinforce it, like I said, with some liquid glue. Liquid glass would work beautifully, or either of our mono Tombow type glues that we carry. Here is the little bow, and I'm going to grab a foam dot here, and I'm going to put that piece of foam right there in the center of the bow, and that's going to adhere it to the card. I think I'm going to put that one off to the side and not on the strap like the other ones. That's what's so fun about making these is you can design them any way that you want. You could even pull in some embellishments like I am here. These are holly jolly dots, whatever's left in your stash, and they all mix and match really well. There's no rules about this. This is all your own creativity is the limit, and use up those little bits and pieces. Maybe you have 3 sequins sitting around from a project. Pick them up and use them. I'm going to use my tweezers to try to position these little dots so that they look like the little hardware, like rivets or grommets on a purse. And I think that gives it a little decorative element. Now I put little dots on the actual belt strap because it felt like, maybe that would be where you would slide the little buckle mechanism through. It's just decorative and fun. And I'm just moving this around. I'm going to move it up a bit because when I put that little dot down, I realized that I needed to move everything up so that I would be able to go ahead and slide the bottom of that belt buckle through that little slit that is made with the thin cut. So that's the flat one. Here I had this little poinsettia cut from one of the CRICUT collections. It was shoved in that bag with white pine, so I figured why not use it. I often have little embellishments that I make that I don't use, so I just shove them in the bag too and wait for an opportunity to use them. This one could probably use a little more, but I just wanted to show you the mechanics of it. Now, if you wanted that V shape or W shape, I should say, in the bottom, you just make that fold like I just did there. And now you have the perfect little spot to hide some Hershey Kisses or something. And that is your set of purse cards. I hope that you like having taken the flat one and made it bigger, turning it into a 3D purse to hold some goodies. Here's the look at the card set. And before you go, I just wanted to talk to you about our reopened registration for the 31 Days of Christmas Cards event with the Creative Design Team. You can see the link right here to register. Also, if you have not become one of my subscribers yet, I'd love it if you did so today. Thank you, and thanks for watching.